What is up? I hope you're having a great evening, morning, or afternoon whenever you're watching this. I want to take this opportunity to first and foremost ground into our space and get focused for this short video. So I invite you to close your eyes and we're just going to take a few deep breaths here. So inhale through the nose and exhale. Sigh it out if it calls to you. And breathing in once more. And exhale. And one final deep breath, biggest breath of the day, grounding you into the moment. Inhale. And exhale. Taking any gentle movements in your body that feel right for you. And when you're ready, you can return to your space. All right. So this video, we're going to be covering mindful eating. I'm going to define what it is, and then I'm going to walk you through the process. A little background on mindful eating for me. I discovered it in late college when I realized that I had been neglecting my relationship with food. I had really no connection with it. I was just, food was food. I was just eating it, gobbling it so quickly that I was going back for seconds, thirds, sometimes even fourths, just ignoring my body's sensations to stop eating, and that led to a lot of uncomfortable symptoms, especially fatigue and brain fog. So this was a powerful tool that I learned to help me to slow down and build more of an intentional relationship with the food that I was putting into my body. So I first want to define what mindful eating is, and if you don't have a pen and paper, I suggest you grab one to take some notes here. So mindful eating, what is it? It is an opportunity to be fully focused and present with your meal and your body, your body, the sensations of your body. It's really simply that. And I like this because, especially for beginners with mindfulness and meditation, because there's so many great sensations involved, all the flavors and textures. So this is a good one for everyone, but especially beginners, because it's a lot more exciting and tangible than just sitting in silence and being with your thoughts. And I still use this one to this day. It's one of my prime practices. So I hope that you enjoy and are able to take some value from this. I first want to touch on, before we go into the process, I want to touch on what mindfulness is specifically. So mindfulness is a systematic process composed of 3 parts. So the first part is self-observation, second part is self-inquiry, and third part is mindful action. So self-observation being the first part, and you can apply mindfulness to anything in life, but we'll use the example of a meal here. So the first step in mindfulness is self-observation. So the self-observation piece being, okay, you've sat down for your meal and you're now going to say close your eyes, but you don't necessarily have to, but just tuning into your body and any sensations that you're having, just purely observing the feelings, emotions, thoughts, just everything in your experience. And then the second part of mindfulness is the self-inquiry. So after the observation, you go into asking some questions regarding whatever topic it is. It might be, where did this food come from, or why am I like asking your intention behind eating the meal. Maybe it's to connect with a friend, or maybe it's to nourish your body, or maybe it's multiple. And then the third step is mindful action. So based off what you've observed in your body and what you've asked yourself, you then go and make a mindful, intentional decision. For instance, hey, I observe that I'm hungry. What do I want to eat? Well, I'm craving some salmon and sweet potatoes. Is that honoring my body? Yes. So then I'm going to take some mindful action to then make that meal and eat it. And mindfulness, a lot of people call it the art of conscious living too. So mindfulness is a way for us to be more intentional. And meditation is a mindfulness practice. So now I'm going to go deeper into the 3 steps in the mindfulness systematic process. So I have here, it's a meal of salmon, sweet potato, squash. We've got a little feta cheese on top and pumpkin seeds. And then you can't really see it, but there's some lettuce greens underneath there too, with some balsamic dressing. One of my favorite go-tos. So in my practice of mindful eating, I would first take my meal here. I would observe the meal. So I'm not only observing the sensations of my body, maybe my belly's growling because I'm hungry, and I'm taking in all of the sights, sounds. Maybe there's some sizzling in the food and sense of the food. So I'm taking a moment to really acknowledge the food in front of me. So taking that in. And then you, in say a journal, it could be specifically a food journal or just your basic journal. Having some journal prompts in there, such as, why am I eating this? So stating your intention before eating the meal. And that can be a good one to catch ourselves when, like, it's just a good question to ask, like, being honest with ourselves. Am I eating this because my body needs it, or am I eating it because there's some other emotion that I'm not addressing? Or it could be whatever. So I think that's a very powerful question to ask. Why am I eating this? So that's one prompt. The second prompt is, how is this serving me? Maybe it's to nourish my body. Maybe it's to connect with family. Maybe it's to entertain myself. Maybe it is a piece of candy or a bowl of ice cream, which is, neither good or bad. It's really just being honest with how it's serving you. And then a third prompt is, what am I eating? So literally writing down what you eat can make you just that much more aware of what you're about to consume. And then other questions like, where did it come from? And really taking a moment to write down how you feel in your body. I think this is a really important one too, because especially for identifying if we need to make some changes in our diet, such as certain foods or certain amounts of foods. So right now I'm feeling calm, relaxed, and pretty energized. I'm having a sensation of hunger. My body is wanting that nourishment. I haven't ate for 4.5 hours or so. So it's about that time. So really writing down the answers to these questions quick before diving into the meal. So that's like the self-inquiry part of it. And then I take a moment to hold my food. If it's in a bowl, just feeling the warmth on my hands, tuning into all five senses, and just like literally going through them in my head. Like, obviously, taste isn't implemented yet, but yeah, smell, touch, sight. And then bringing gratitude to the meal, whether it's through prayer, if you have a certain God or representation of God that you like to pray to, this is a good opportunity to do that. It helps us to be more intentional, even more so. So, what I like to do is I have a certain, I wouldn't call it a prayer, but it's just something that I came up with on my own that I like to say before most of my meals. So I'll just say it in my head, really take in all the sensations. I like to speak to Earth, just being grateful for this planet that I live on. So it goes something like this: Thank you, Earth, for the food that you've given me. Thank you, soil, for the plants that nourish me and give my cells energy. May this nourish my cells and my soul so that I am able to serve myself to the best of my ability and therefore others to the best of my ability. And then I also ask that anything that doesn't serve me in this meal be left behind before entering my body, my temple. Now, I know that sounds very spiritual, but as a spiritual person, that's very important to me. And so just bringing whatever flavor you want, for no pun intended, but just making up any sort of prayer of your own can really make the meal more special. And then after bringing gratitude, I then take my first bite. So it'll look something like this. Now, you notice me close my eyes. Obviously, if you're with people, that can be kind of weird, but if they're open to it, maybe they'll join you. But yeah, if you're on your own, closing your eyes can be a better way to tune deeper into the other sensations, like the textures in your mouth, the flavors, the smells. So during that time, when I was sitting there, I was really just focusing on the process going on in my mouth, bringing gratitude to my jaw's ability to chew this food and process it and begin the process of digestion. All the saliva coming in and starting to bring those enzymes to break down the food as well. And chewing slowly and chewing it thoroughly allows for even better digestion and absorption once it's in your stomach. And it also helps us to eat the meal over a longer length of time, allowing our bodies to give us those sensations of fullness. And then once I have it all chewed well, I then swallow and just merely witness that process as well, feeling the food as much as possible going down my esophagus and into my stomach, and really just visualizing that in my head and feeling it and being grateful. And then you just continue to do this throughout the meal, however much or little that you want to do. It's not like you have to be fully immersed in all the sensations the whole time. I do encourage it because it does change the game of like how one approaches food going forward. And then, once that's in your belly, again, I like to massage my belly a little bit, which helps to enhance that digestion as well. So gently massaging and again, bringing that gratitude to the abdomen, thinking about the stomach, like all the intricacies of starting that process of breaking down the food so that it's then turned into energy that we can utilize for whatever we're doing in the world. And bringing that gratitude to the intestines and just really being grateful. And then bringing in the food journal after the process of eating. So about 30 to 60 minutes after the meal. If you have an opportunity, I encourage you to set an alarm for 30 or 60 minutes and then have that journal ready to then ask yourself how you feel. So just being honest with yourself, how do I feel after this meal, mentally, physically, emotionally, and just writing down any similarities or differences in how you felt prior to the meal. Depending on how you're feeling, this can give you some insight into what foods energize you versus what foods don't, or what your body accepts and what your body rejects, just based on how your belly's feeling and just your overall body. So yeah, this is just giving you more awareness about which foods suit your body well and which don't, and it's different for everyone. And it's through processes like this that clue us into which foods we want to eat more of versus not. And then, as I touched on before, ideally doing this meal over 20 minutes is going to allow those feelings of satiety to come into play. So at the end of 20 minutes, if you're truly still feeling hungry, then that's an opportunity to honor your body and get more food to satisfy what the body needs. And obviously, the closer the food is to its original state in nature, so basically the less processed it is, generally the more nutritious it's going to be for you. So yeah, really, this is a powerful practice for me, as simple as it seems. If this is practiced regularly, you begin to notice the relationship with food becoming more intentional and meaningful, which I think is important because we're interacting with food every day. We need it to fuel our bodies, so it's good to bring that intention and gratitude to it when we can. It's just a great opportunity for us to slow down throughout our day, like I said, to balance out the go of society. Lastly, I want to say it's a great opportunity to connect with our bodies too. It's easy to get lost in all the activities we're doing throughout the day and feel jumbled up in our head and not in our bodies, but it's when we're in our bodies that we're able to navigate the world better with less stress. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope this is valuable for you to take and utilize in your own life. Take care.